Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for some palette talk today. Sorry, I got my morning voice on. We're gonna be talking about 10 eyeshadow palettes that I think are great for Valentine's Day, that every type of eyeshadow lover, I think, could get a look that they prefer out of one of these 10 palettes. So if you want to just talk about palettes and Valentine's Day and all that good stuff, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think. And if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with someone that feels the same way, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So how are you? I am doing well, and before I start the video, I just want to thank you all for all of the birthday wishes. I really had a nice birthday. It was relaxing, and I'm really thankful to my sister Ariel for just planning that. She had a work meeting, and I just kind of tagged along with her. We stayed in a hotel. We ate good food. We just had a really nice time. We watched the Super Bowl, and that's just what I needed. And need to do more sister time with her. I just have one sister, so I would love it to not be so few and far between. You know what I'm trying to say, where she and I get a chance to hang out as just Cara and Ariel, not the moms, not the adults. You know, we just could be ourselves. So very thankful to her for that. And I'm thankful to you all for all of the wishes. I'm feeling good. Let's get into this video. I forgot Valentine's Day was this week, and I saw these posts coming up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't even talked about my Valentine's Day eyeshadow palette. So I'm filming this in the morning of the same day it's gonna go up, and I'm hoping I get a chance to finish it. And my plan was to do an eyeshadow look too, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to do all that. So let's get started. These are not gonna be in any particular order. For Valentine's Day. Now, Valentine's Day, you know, we think about pink, we think about purple, we think about red. So most of my palettes do have those colors in them, but I think some of them here do offer some anti-Valentine's Day looks. If you're into those, whatever that means, I guess not those colors. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start with number one, which is gonna be the obvious choice from my girl Tasha, of course, and this is the Love palette. And if this doesn't say Valentine's Day, I don't know what does. And I think she's probably had a tough time topping herself for a Valentine's Day release. This shade is not the original shade. I don't know where that is. It's around, I didn't throw it away, but it was like a really light matte blend out. And now that I know about blend outs, maybe I should put it back. But you see, we just have all of the beautiful Valentine's Day colors. You have like this bright red here, which is really nice. The purple, you got the pinks. I mean, you could go either way with this palette. You're not really gonna get any neutral looks. It's either gonna be red, pink, or purple, and you can change up the shimmer. My most favorite look with this palette that I did was a look that used the purple and the silver together. That was my most memorable look from this palette. I don't know when I filmed it. It was way back, but when I think about this palette, I think about that look that I created with the purple and the silver, and I really, really like that. Of course, you know, Natasha Denona is one of my priority brands, and I do have most of her palettes. I really love them. They're very consistent. The formula is excellent. So we're gonna kick it off with the OG Valentine's Day palette, Natasha Denona Love. Palette number two comes from Nomad Cosmetics, and this is the Verona Amor y Morte. So this was based on Romeo and Juliet. It was kind of that theme of love and death, and it had this cool fold out design. And not a huge fan of the fold out design, but I definitely felt like it was neat for them to do.
I'm brushing my teeth.
You're brushing your teeth, that's awesome. And wash your face, okay?
Will.
So there's our palette here, and you see we have the love side with all the reds and pinks, and the death side here with these deep colors. This deep side here is so beautiful. Like, it is really nice. I do think the shimmers in this palette are a bit hard pressed for my taste, and I think I remember that being a thing with this palette. Some people had to get some replacements. Tragedy is a really nice shade. I'm not gonna be doing a whole bunch of swatching because, you know, a girl got to get to work. But I think the one critique of this palette was some people wanted this by itself, like in its own palette. I think they did sell singles. And then for this side, I remember some people just saying, you know, the shades, how they show up on the eye, you may not really see all the differences, so maybe we didn't need all that red and pink. But overall, I think this was a really fantastic concept. It's not something I've seen anybody done, like a Romeo and Juliet type of palette. I really like this idea. It's not my favorite palette, but I could tell like Nomad was really stepping it up when this palette came out. So palette number 2, Nomad Cosmetics Verona Amor y Morte. Okay, palette number 3 is a Macari find. I got it recently, and this is by none other than Dior, because you know I cannot be these prices, y'all. So I found this, I think, for about $70 on Macari. This goes for $130, and this is called the Mitzah palette. Now, I believe that this is a face palette, so you could do your eyes and your cheeks, your highlighter, and maybe even a bronzer for some. So I chose this one. This is actually the one I was planning on wearing today if I have time. I chose this one because maybe you don't want to go super pink and you have these brown shades to kind of offset it if you want something a little more neutral, because if you are going somewhere, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be like pink all over or that you're wearing pink in the first place. Those are just the Valentine's Day colors. But if you want to do something pink, have a really cute blush, and then maybe do a neutral look or offset some of the bright pinks with the browns, I think you could come up with something really cute using this palette. It is very easy to use. So that's why I chose this. Plus you get some blushes out of it as well. So that's palette number 3, Mitzah by Dior. Palette number 4, now some of these palettes I haven't worn yet, and this is one of them. This is the Crazy in Love palette from Glamlite, and this is the Chucky palette. Awesome. Don't forget to get your shoes on. And now this might be for the anti-Valentine's Day person or the grungy lover, because I see Valentine's with this, but I see a deep, dark Valentine's Day. I think this was such a brilliant release from Glamlite. This is one of the collections where I was like, yes, they really did that right. And I ended up purchasing this during Black Friday, so you can tell it's unused. But if you want some dark, grungy, or you're going out, you could do some like grungy glam, if that's a thing, with this palette. And it does say Valentine's to me. It's like Toxic Valentine. Yeah. So I'm excited to have this in my collection. I think I'm more excited to have it in my collection than to really use it. I know that sounds ridiculous, and I will eventually get to it at some point, but I am happy to have this one. I was glad. It was already a good price, but Black Friday I was able to get it for a great price. So palette number 4 goes to Glamlite and Chucky. What is the name of this? Crazy in Love, the Crazy in Love palette. Palette number 5 goes to none other than Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2. And this palette will always hold a special place in my heart because it's the very first Pat McGrath launch that I was able to partake in real time. And I was able to get the limited edition pink packaging. She's still in very good shape. Now I picked this over Divine Rose because I just thought that you could get a subdued look, but you could also get a really bold look. This one is an artistry palette, whereas Divine Rose is an eyeshadow palette. So you can definitely use this shade. I love this for a blush. You can have your duochrome moment with VR Extraterrestrial if you want that. You can have your golden moment because you know she's gonna give us a gold. So we still have these beautiful baked special shades. I thought about pulling out the Mothership 11, which I haven't used yet. It was gifted to me, and that one would work too. I mean, a lot of Pat McGrath palettes will work, but I just like this because you can do something muted and you could do something bright. So, you know, different type of eyeshadow lovers could probably find something to do with this palette. If you want to go bold, you definitely want to use this shade here. But if you want to go, you know, a little softer, you may want to start with this. Maybe use this shimmer here, one of these. And then you could, you know, do your little inner corner highlight if you want to smoke it out. So you got some options here. You got your special shades if you really want something to stand out, or you want to use one of those shades as a topper. It's a great palette. I think that you could do some really cool looks with. And I know it's super pink, but at the time she had not overdone the pink. So this was a really welcome addition to the motherships, because a lot of people like Divine Rose. For our family that likes the bolder looks, this one gave you that. So that's why I thought Divine Rose 1 and 2, that was great. And we could have stopped there, but we did not stop there. But that's palette number 5, Divine Rose 2 by none other than Pat McGrath. Palette number 6, I actually just purchased from the cosmetics company store. So you probably know which brand it is. Thomas. So I probably gave this the sound in makeup protection. I'm sure I did, because he was coming out with this Valentine's Day collection, but the blush was new, but this was not. This is the Honeymoon quad. And like I said, this is brand new. I'm gonna take the little plastic off so you can see the hearts. Now, the coolest thing about this is the packaging. You have this matte packaging, which of course, this looks great. And you've got the Honeymoon quad with the heart Tom Ford imprint on it, and the red bag. Little stuff like that I like. Got this from the cosmetics company store when I went with my sister this weekend for my birthday. We went to some outlets and they had a CCO. My CCO never has anything that's like new from Tom Ford. Just like the traditional quads that you see at the CCO, like Body Heat, Suspicion. They're just the ones that Leopard Sun. It's like, nobody wants those. No, I like Body Heat though. Suspicion's actually really pretty. But when I saw this, I'm like, how much is this? So it ended up being like 40 or 50% off, and then another 15% over $100, like if you spent that. And I was like, okay, this quad is coming down to being $38. So yes, $38 is a reasonable price, more than reasonable for Tom Ford. $90 is not reasonable. So at a $38 price, I can go ahead and get with it. And Honeymoon is a beautiful quad. And I was gonna say, like, with these, you wouldn't use all 4 shades, I don't think. But you could definitely mix and match and do like some 2 and dones, or maybe even 3 and dones. I don't see myself using all 4 shades. I feel like with quads and quints, I don't know if they're really meant to use every single shade, but you can get a couple of different looks if you simplify it a bit. So curious to play with that. So that is palette number 6, Honeymoon Valentine's Day edition by none other than Thomas Ford. Palette number 7 is one I really need to check on, because the shimmers are just so hard panty and I just can't. This is the Major Dimension 2 palette by none other than Mr. Patrick Ta. I do think Patrick Ta is a great concept with having his creams here. And then you have your mattes and you have your shimmers. You can tell like these are hard pan though. I'm sure y'all can see it. And I'm frustrated with hard panty shades, and that's why I'm not sure about this new Odin's Eye collection, because I don't want to be saying the same thing the next year, like, oh, I got this and I really like it, and this shade has completely dried out. These are dried out, but they're also not in great condition. I have to press into them really hard with my fingers, so I guess maybe I can't use brushes with these shimmers, but I'm probably not going to be finding out. I really like the looks of that I have made with this palette, and it's more because he has this gradient of mattes and they work so nicely together. The mattes are really, really nice, and I did go and get the all matte palette, ended up returning it. Like, Cara, you really don't want this. You don't even need those mattes. But I think for this concept here with Major Dimension 2, I really like it. It's pink, but it's not like in your face. It's not like Barbie pink. I think someone could find a really beautiful look within this palette, and you even kind of have these pinky browns, like these rosewoods, which, you know, I just think, oh my gosh, the shade just fall out. See what I'm talking about? You got to check on your palettes. You don't know if they be hurt. But that's palette number 7, Major Dimension 2 by Patrick Ta. Palette number 8 goes to Huda Beauty, and this is the Naughty Nude palette. I just think this palette is like, it's a sexy palette. You have your pinks in here, but you also have these browns here, these very warm browns, and you just have some variety in here that some of the other palettes don't have. Like you have this little duochrome situation right there. We did have that Petri dish shade that I scraped out. That creases on me. There's no point of using that as any type of eyeshadow primer for me. And the same goes for the creams in the Patrick Ta palettes. They're really no point for me at all. And I haven't tried the creams on top of an eyeshadow primer to see if that happens, but if you can't just use the cream as a base alone, then what's the point? Because if it's just, what's the point? That's how I feel. But yes, this is the Naughty Nudes palette. Definitely something that you could wear day and night, and it's also something where you can just get a regular neutral look if you want. And I could even see just using some of these browns, but then maybe taking one of these shades that do have like that berry undertone. That would be nice. She does have her like red shimmers, and Huda Beauty has a really nice eyeshadow formula. Huda Beauty kind of was sneaking up on me at the beginning of the year. Well, it is the beginning of the year, but with the color correctors and the peach pie powder, yeah, she is doing it. But I always look forward to her once a year big palettes, and I'm so glad that she only just has one a year, because I just can't. But I do really enjoy her palettes, and I think Naughty Nudes is a great one for Valentine's Day. And you know, it's got that little naughty theme, so if you're into the themes, you know, I try to stay away from the themes. So that was palette number 8, and we have 2 palettes left. Palette number 9, y'all. Millennial Pinx by Melt. I was obsessed with this color story when it came out, like really obsessed. And I didn't get this palette for a very long time because of the reviews on it that the shimmers were trash. It's true. It's true. So my Millennial Pinx palette has some alternate shimmers. Let me see which ones. Damn. I may have changed all the shimmers in here. I have a whole video about my Melt palettes and how I had to deconstruct them. I know I changed oh yeah, no. I changed all of them except maybe Moon Glow, which is like that silver. I let that stay, but this is dusty to me too. I think that Millennial Pinx is such a nice color story with the pink and the gray. It's just Melt's execution with the shimmers is so inconsistent, and that's why they had to not be on my list this year of brands to purchase from, at least not for eyeshadow. They do their blushes well. They do a lot of things well. Those slick waterline pencils are extremely beautiful, but when it comes to eyeshadow, I just have to say no. I'm disappointed every time, and I think the icing on the cake was the Bailey Sarian collection, because I said they're gonna at least get that one right, and for me it was just a huge flop. Beautiful execution on the collection, the packaging, the colors, the whole concept of the poisons, all of it. Performance, no, I cannot. Why are the shadows oxidizing? Why are the mattes fading and I didn't even do anything? So that was a no, but I'm gonna keep the Melt palettes I have and continue to work with them as long as I feel like it. I don't buy palettes to depot and deconstruct. So I just did that as a desperation to save the palette in my collection because I have so many singles. But I don't buy palettes to do that with. So yeah, I'm not making a habit of that in 2024. And I didn't purposely make it a habit any other year. But it happened, especially with Melt. But Millennial Pinx is number 9. And we have one last palette. And this is a palette that I bought, I sold, and I repurchased recently. And this is the Dollhouse palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. Now this is another one where you can do like your little anti-Valentine's Day, or you want to do Valentine's Day with a twist. You want to have something that's smoked out a little bit. I think that the Dollhouse palette is great for that. And mainly what made me think about this for Valentine's Day were kind of like this row here and some of these like softer like mauve-y shades, and then you do have your purple if you want to go purple for Valentine's Day. I think this is like a little iridescent shade up top. I've not used this since I purchased it, but yeah, definitely thinking about this column, some of the shades, this row here. And I was thinking about like another like ethereal grunge type look where you may have like deep smoky outer corners, but then kind of the soft edges using these shades. I thought that could look really nice for Valentine's Day, because again, everybody doesn't want to go pink, but you can still have some of these like mauve-y moments within the grunge and the other shades that you choose to use. I love this row right here, like just the varying deep shades. Like it almost looks like they're all black from right here, but they're not. And I don't know, I'm happy to have repurchased this during Black Friday. I think it was Black Friday, and have it in my collection. So that's my list. Now, I could have gone with more. I'm actually gonna throw together a look really fast because I do wanna put some shadow on. These don't have shade names or anything. I'm just kind of throwing this together while I close out the video because I just feel like I need something. This is the House Labs Dragon Fruit Days blush. And it looks a lot brighter, I feel like, in the pan. I'm just gonna go into this shade here. We're just gonna throw this together, y'all. I just wanted to connect with the blush because it looks really nice, I think. So let me know, do you have plans for Valentine's Day? It's kind of hard for me. I do have the boys, you know, and we'll probably just all do something together, which is totally fine. But let me know if you have plans. Do you celebrate? Like, what's going on? Let me know. Let me know. I can't think of a Valentine's Day where, like, I really did something on Valentine's Day. I just can't think of it. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, this is pretty. I've used this once. This is, like, some of the best makeup for me to use when I'm, you know, kind of in a rushed state. Because you just don't have to worry about the blend at all. It is just the easiest thing ever. I'm gonna go into this deep pink here. And see, the other thing with pink is, I know some people with pink, they don't like the way it looks on them. Like, people feel like it makes them look sickly. So, you know, I could understand, like, if you're like, pink is not my thing. It's not my color. So let me know. I mean, if I was going out, I think if I was going out for Valentine's Day, I wouldn't even be thinking like I need to wear pink. I think about it more so for work, like, oh, and then I was like, oh, I'm wearing all this pink today and I should have saved all this for tomorrow, but I need the video to go up before Valentine's Day because somebody out there may need some inspo. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in here just a tad. It's just really simple. And if I was thinking, I would have put this on for blush, but I wasn't thinking about it. But I love the blend of this. Like, I really, really do. Really nice. And I'm looking for, like, kind of a flat, yeah, shader brush. This is from Unearthly Cosmetics. I'm going to go into, like, this shade here. So I'm pretty much done with the look. I'm just going to fade that in. So it's a little bit of a gradient. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think that's so pretty and simple. And for the under eye, you want to go with brown? We want to go with more pink. I'm going to go with more pink. This bright pink too. I think that's what I'm going to go with. See how I feel about it. Because that's when sometimes people are like, nope, that looks kind of sickly. But I'm just going to try to keep it diffused and right under the lash line. Just like that. Finally, for the inner corner, let's just go into... Let's see what the white looks like. So I don't know when else I would use this. It's not white technically, but you know what I'm saying. All right, beautiful, love it. And we need eyeliner, which I don't understand why I always have a hard time finding the eyeliners, and I wear the same eyeliners like every single time. I can never find them. Oh, here we go. Y'all already know what shade it is, so just stop. Not even gonna say. Fig by Victoria Beckham. I know, y'all. It's terrible. It's terrible. But that's what goes. Bordeaux probably would have been better choice. But I'm just doing it real light. I don't need it to be dark. And I'm gonna get some mascara. I have the What's Up Beauty Watch Me mascara. I'm not gonna keep saying it like that. It sounds a mess. I'm into this look. I feel like this mascara might be getting old. I may have had it for like 3 3 months at least at this point. I want to try the Blends mascara, but I don't feel the need to make like a special order right now for it, you know. Do we want to change the lip? So right now I'm wearing Bronze Temptation from Pat McGrath. Here's the final look. Let me just turn it down a little bit so y'all can see. Tell me that's not so pretty. I'm not trying to get got, but Chanel and Dior are trying it. They're really trying it with me. Hourglass Veil. Let me give you my scent. Testing these out. I know y'all waiting. It's coming. Strawberry Letter and Strawberry or FRIZZFACE. Yeah. It's coming. Just like a strawberry shortcake doll. Yeah. All right, lipstick. Let's see if I have anything I want to just toy with. I bought out, oh my gosh, I'm getting all pumped. This is my Melt case that I put my lipsticks in now because they were what, like $10 when Melt had that ridiculous sale. Oh my God, that's the wrong case. Anyway, that had all my unearthly lipsticks. But this has, see all my Lisa Eldridge right there? Except for Sorcery, because Sorcery is in the bin for February. I'm thinking about something bright today. Why not? Why not? We got Strawberry Shock, which is gorgeous. But then I also have Rainbow Spill. But I have to think, like, what liners do I have? Because I have Carnival here. Carnival, I think, is going to be the only feasible choice to use with a Strawberry Shock. And Enchantment is another good one. We could do Enchantment. Let's do Enchantment. So we got Velvet Enchantment today. Oh, this is gonna be so pretty. Okay, let's put that on and then I do have to leave. For my birthday, I treated myself to the Vega palette from Lisa Eldridge. I have this gloss on, so it's not going on great. The Vega palette, I'm so excited with those like brown taupey shades. And then I have the Velveteen. I know people keep saying it's not good, but I'm gonna try it out. I got Velvet Affair. That's one of my favorite shades. All right, that's the best that's gonna be. But oh my gosh, Lisa Eldridge creeping back into my life. And she never left, but you know what I'm saying. Those eyeshadow palettes, because now I'm gonna have 3 of them. I have Sorcery, I have Myth, and now I'm gonna have Vega. So this is not going on as matte as it usually does because I had on that gloss and I didn't take it off. But eventually, it'll wear off and I'll reapply it. But this looks really nice. Little glossy Enchantment. All right, that's it, y'all. So that's the look for today for work. So let me know what you think about the palettes that I mentioned and let me know what you're pulling out, if anything. Maybe we're not even into this. So that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another one today. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. And until I see you again, make sure you're being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and you know I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.